Hey guys, so I tell like it is already made part 1 of my 2018-19 Champions League video. I've already made my prediction for the 2017-18 Champions League. I have predicted Bayern Munich to defeat Barcelona. I'm going to post that into the description tab. Just look for it under the description. My Bayern Munich prediction to win the Champions League. But I am going to predict Juventus to defeat Paris Saint-Germain in the 64th Champions League. Here is where the story in the narrative is preset. If you guys do not know, Dani Alves used to play with Juventus, and he was an instrumental part of Juventus losing the Champions League final. All done by the numbers. I did predict Juventus to win the 62nd Champions League. They end up losing the final. Almost on the money with that prediction. I had Juventus and Real Madrid. I just didn't have the winner right for that final. But Dani Alves, during halftime of the Champions League, the score was 1-1, right? So you would think that at halftime that the players would be focused, completely serious and just focused on getting ready for the second half, but that's not what happened. Dani Alves blasted the music and set off Leonardo Bonucci, who was really desperate to win his first Champions League, and Dani Alves basically told him to go fuck yourself, that I've already won 3. I don't give a fuck about you, and I don't give a fuck about Gianluigi Buffon trying to win his Champions League. I don't give a fuck if I'm pissing off my teammates and getting them distracted with all this super loud music that's killing their eardrums. So here's what Juventus striker Mario Mandzukic said about those two. Once again, Mandzukic is a winner. He scored the goal in the Champions League final. Bayern Munich, when they defeated Dortmund, he scored that amazing bicycle kick that tied the game. Here's what he said about the prima donna, Dani Alves, who, by the way, should have really wanted to defeat Real Madrid, his former team, but he didn't. The answer is because Dani Alves was a secret agent, and he was supposed to throw his teammates off at halftime. He was all part of the grand act. He distracted his teammates. So here's what Mandzukic said. I want to intervene to silence the rumors of an ugly atmosphere inside the Juventus locker room. It was simply Bonucci and Dani Alves to have created this chaos, and fortunately, with their sales, everything will become calm again. They're the ones who had a role during the final, and it's simply because they have diametrically opposed personalities. Leo and Dani would argue all the time, and on the day of the final, we simply watched another of their many dramas. By the way, started by Dani Alves. As soon as we got into the locker room, everyone had treated this like a normal game with just 3 points up for grabs, or at least that's how it seemed. So we expected Dani Alves to do his usual routine of putting on the radio party groove music in the locker room while we were getting changed. This time, though, he didn't stop there. He went over the top, playing Samba do Janeiro at full volume as if he wanted to break our eardrums, and then started dancing like there's no tomorrow. So let me stop there. So he's dancing at halftime and partying like the game is over, but it's 1-1. Dani Alves was simply an agent taking part of the scripted narrative for Real Madrid to win, and part of it was throwing his teammates off the wrong way. So let me continue. I thought he was being stupid, but ignored him and went to my locker. Leo didn't. As for him, the Champions League was an obsession. He went up to Dani and said he'd break his legs in 3 seconds if he didn't turn off that music. Obviously, a row erupted, and it just kept going until Dani Alves said that if he lost the final, he'd still have 3 Champions League trophies in his locker, whereas Bonucci had none. At that point, everyone turned around scandalized. I've won the Champions League But I'd never dare say something like that. We shouldn't even have thought about the eventuality of defeat. Then Leo grabbed Danny by the throat, and as he was about to punch him, Massimiliano Allegri divided them and took a decision of a real leader. He said he didn't care who started, but at the end of the game, they'd both get kicked out. It was the wisest decision ever made. Now the group is calm and united again, without the annoying bragging of Leo and the usual Brazilian pain in the neck of Dani Alves, who would never let us just get changed and focus on the Champions League final. So this was what the real story that went down during the Champions League. It was Dani Alves being an agent. I'm going to explain to you why Dani Alves is an agent. The reason why Dani Alves is an agent, because he was an Illuminati plant from the beginning. You see that Dani Alves wore number 23 with Juventus. The 2019 Champions League, this is going to be the 64th season of the Champions League. And the last time Juventus won the Champions League was during the 41st Champions League. This is a time span of 23 years. So Dani Alves' number 23 only meant that Juventus were going to end the title drought in 23 years instead of 21 years. Dani Alves was the agent who set off the locker room. He was playing the part of the script. It is all scripted. And it is no coincidence that Juventus lost the game by a score of 4-1, because Juventus last won the Champions League in the 41st Champions League. This is all done by design, no coincidence. This is all part of your rigged and scripted world of professional sports. Now I'm going to talk about Buffon too a little bit in this video. Gianluigi Buffon, you see, is 39 years old. He's going to turn 40 this year, but next year Buffon is going to be 41 years of age. So in his 18th season at Juventus, Gianluigi Buffon is going to win the Champions League at 41 years of age after losing his latest final by a score of 4-1 to win Juventus' first Champions League since the 41st Champions League. Buffon would do it at the age of 41. His age of 41 is super significant. In Italy, the number 13 is a lucky number. And 41 is the 13th prime. So Buffon's 41 years of age is going to be a very, very, very special number. Now, you do see that Italy would win its 13th Champions League final in 2019. Now, I am predicting Juventus to defeat Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League final. Neymar versus Dybala is going to be a really, really key matchup. You do see that Juventus would be playing in its 10th Champions League final. Paulo Dybala is compared to Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi wears number 10. I'm predicting Dybala to face off against Neymar. Neymar also wears number 10, and this would be Juventus' 10th Champions League final. Now, here is the key Buffon tribute, is that Buffon, in the biggest trophy that he's won, the World Cup, Buffon defeated France in the 2006 World Cup final. He's won the biggest trophy of his international career. Buffon won the 2006 World Cup, but also Buffon's biggest trophy as a club player. He would beat Paris Saint-Germain, also from France. So Buffon's biggest trophy as an international came when he won the 2006 World Cup against France. 13 years later, he would win the Champions League against a French team, Paris Saint-Germain. This is a direct tribute to the 2006 World Cup. This is yet another reason why your world of sports are completely rigged and scripted by the numbers. 2019, 2006, a time span of 13 years. Juventus, the country of Italy, in its clubs, would win their 13th Champions League. 13 years after Gianluigi Buffon won the World Cup against France, he would win the Champions League against Paris Saint-Germain. So Buffon's biggest wins would come against France. I would like to answer that question as to why it would be France, but that would come later. But do not forget the grand connection that I'm making to that, as well as Dani Alves, now playing with Paris Saint-Germain, still shooting off his mouth. His number 23 with Juventus only means Juve would end its 23-year drought against Dani Alves, Neymar, and Paris Saint-Germain. Now I'm going to run all of the rest of the numbers for you. Sports are completely rigged and scripted through the practice of gematria, the practice of coding letters and words into numbers. So once again, this is going to be the 64th season of the Champions League in 2019. 2018, 2019, the final that is being played in 2019. Once again, Neymar signs with PSG on August the 3rd, 8-3, football equals 83. When talking about the 64 Champions League, to review, Juventus Football Club equals 64, Israel Zion Synagogue of Satan, the Zionists that rig and script the world of sports equals 64. It is the Freemasons, the Zionists, and the Jesuits that make up the Illuminati. Allegri, the Juventus manager, equals 64. Gigi Buffon, the great goalkeeper, equals 64. Paulo Dybala, the amazing young striker, La Joya, his nickname is La Joya. La Joya equals 64. Madrid, Spain is one of the finalists to host the game. I'm predicting the game to be hosted in Spain at Madrid. Ciudad de Madrid in gematria equals 64. This is where the 64 is coming into play. Recall that Juventus lost the final of the 62nd Champions League. Juventus versus Paris Saint-Germain in gematria equals 62. The 62 only means that it is a connection to Juventus' latest Champions League loss, which occurred on June the 2nd in the 62nd Champions League final. No coincidence. That is going to be a storyline for this final. Are they going to repeat a kind of performance that they did against Ronaldo and Real Madrid? Juventus wins it all, equals 62, after losing the 62nd Champions League. Mason, as you know, equals 62. In Dybala, wins the Champions League. In gematria, equals 62. Dybala wins the Champions League after facing off in the matchup of Juventus versus PSG. Exor is a parent company of Juventus. Exor equals 62. The number 62 is all a tribute to the last time Juventus lost the final. Paris Saint-Germain, I believe, is going to be there. Now, Paris Saint-Germain next year is going to be their 46th season of professional football. The final in 2019 is on June the 1st. June the 1st of 2019 has a date numerology of 46. Paris Saint-Germain in their 46th season would be playing in this Champions League final, I am predicting. It is interesting that Vatican City in gematria equals 46. The Pope, Bishop of Rome, resides within the country of Italy. And Juventus, as you know, is from the country of Italy. Also, the Pope. Pope Francis is going to be 83 years old when Juventus wins the Champions League final. Football equals 83 in gematria. This Pope resides within the city of Rome in the country of Italy. Now to continue my 62 and the grand connection. Remember, Dani Alves, player of Paris Saint-Germain, played for Juventus last year. He played in that final against Real Madrid. He would be playing on PSG. If he's there next year, I believe he will be there next year. Now, Neymar versus Dybala, the key matchup, the key striking matchup. And the word Forza in Italian means power and strength too. Forza Gianluigi Buffon equals 162. The matchup Juve versus PSG, 33. 33 is the highest degree of masonry. Masonry, Juventus Football Club, and Dani Alves all equal 33. Dani Alves is going to be an instrumental part of this matchup because they will know about the spat in the locker room between Bonucci and Dani Alves. This is going to be a storyline to some players that will still be on the team. Giorgio Chiellini, Gianluigi Buffon, Gonzalo Higuain, Paulo Dybala, Claudio Marchisio, and hopefully Juan Cuadrado, and many others. Juventus is the Freemason club. Remember, Juventus FC and Masonry equals 33. It is because the colors in Freemasonry are black and white. And you see Juventus wears the Freemasonic black and white. You see in Dani Alves' jersey. The 2019 Champions League final, 115. The team that would win it would be the team with the Freemason colors. Freemasons equals 115. Law and Order equals 115. It is the Jesuits that rigged scripted world of sports. Jesuit order. Neymar versus Dybala equals 54. Now Jesuit order equals 144. Now 144 is significant because the multiplier, the square root of 144 is 12. And when talking about this special number with the Jesuit order, 144 is very, very special. Now you see that right behind Spain, Italy, and England both have 12 titles. 12 times 12 equals 144. The Champions League in recent years has been dominated by Spain and Bayern Munich. Now, this is where the main tribute is ended. You see that after this year, it would be 6 straight years that England and Italy haven't won a Champions League final, both of those teams. Juventus would be playing in its 6th Champions League finals since winning their last one. If this happens, this number 6 is going to be a pretty special number. And this 144, I believe, connects to the fact that England and Italy have not won in a while, and it is a really big drought that would end. Now, Gianluigi Buffon's birthday is on January 28th of 1978. Going on the online calculator, January the 28th of 2019, the year they win the Champions League, Buffon's birthday numerology equals 68. And remember, in gematria, the practice of coding letters and words into numbers. Number 1, not only does championship in gematria equal 68, and Buffon's birthday numerology is 68 that year, but also Buffon won the Champions League. The UEFA Champions League also equals 68. A very special number. 2018-2019 is going to be Juventus 121st season. Revelation equals 121. And Gianluigi Buffon in the past tense won the Champions League equals 121. And quite frankly, this is the main revelation to take notice that at the end of the day, he is going to win the Champions League, and he will say that he did it. It is this gang of Zionists that are saying this. Buffon has stated his intention to retire after the 2018 World Cup, but what the Zionists that Reagan Scripter Sports say is that never say never, Gigi, because it is the Zionists that Reagan script the world of sports. Never say never, Gigi, and it is the Zionist order that will probably let Gigi know that, hey, you may not win the Champions League next year, but you may play one more year after retiring from your international career in the World Cup. And that's what I believe may happen. To me, it's no coincidence that his biggest trophy as a club player would come against Paris Saint-Germain when he won his biggest trophy as an international player against the country of France, happening 13 years later. 13 is a lucky number in the country of Italy. He would win the Champions League at 41 years of age, 41, the 13th prime. But we need to talk about the mastermind behind all these moves. Beppe Marotta, Giuseppe Marotta, the chief of Juventus. Keep in mind that he's going to be 62 years old, and all these 62 references here are also going to be connections with the mastermind that's making all of the moves for Juventus, for the Bianconeri, for the Black and Whites. Beppe Marotta, his birthday, March 25th of 1957. The amount of time between his birthday and the day of the finals, a time span of 68 days. Once again, championship equals 68. Beppe Marotta, the mastermind behind this very, very, very deep Juventus squad. May the 6th of 1983. Interesting that Dani Alves was born in the year 83, and he signs with Paris Saint-Germain on August the 3rd, 8-3. Now, with a loss in the Champions League final for Paris Saint-Germain, you would see that France would be 1-6 in the final with a loss. This is pretty significant because if you are a foreigner, you write out the day of the final as the first day of June, as 1-6, the first day of the 6th month. And France would be 1-6 in the final with another loss. This is what this is signaling. But once again, the main narrative, Dani Alves is spat with Leonardo Bonucci, distracting his teammates. It's going to get payback. Now, Dani Alves' birthday in 2019, date numerology, a birthday numerology of 50. I don't know what this 50 means. I just wanted to do that on the spot right now. But I've noticed something with Dani Alves' birthday and his number 23 that he wore with Juventus. Juventus ending its 23-year title drought. May 6 plus 2019. Date numerology of 23 for his birthday. Dani Alves' birthday numerology in 2019, the year I'm predicting Juventus to win the Champions League, is a direct tribute to the Champions League drought and the number that he wore with Juventus. Once again, it makes no sense to blast the music to the point where it's breaking your eardrums, distracted his teammates, dancing in the locker room when you're one half away from winning the Champions League final. Distracted his teammates, gone to the spat with Leo, fucked over Leonardo Bonucci, fucked over Gianluigi Buffon, but it is because he is a Zionist agent. He was only carrying out the script, which was for Cristiano Ronaldo and Real Madrid to win one last time, the win for Zidane, to have a dynasty, winning 3 of the past 4 years. Once again, Juventus over PSG And Buffon will beat France again in the final.